So it seems like the Tylock is having a bit of a revival now that the Hawk Knives collectors have realized that it is a Hawk Knives collab, and a really cool one at that. These came out, I think they debuted in 2010 and got the Blade Magazine Overall Knife of the Year award. And this is a June 2011 build date. So that puts it pretty early in the Tylock builds. And these slabs are actually marked first quarter 2011. So these slabs are very early in the Tylock production history. These have just an absolutely gorgeous polished stonewash finish. Get the fingerprints off of here. And it is it's a high polish under that stonewash finish. Same thing on the blade. Really nice high polish stonewash finish with the blue accents. The first, I believe it was the first 50 of these, actually had a heavy sandblast finish, traditional CRK heavy sandblast finish on the slabs as well. And then they went to this high polish stonewash for the regulars. And then of course the fancy annual Tylocks that they were doing for a handful of years. One thing I wanted to point out, it's kind of hard to tell if you don't really pay attention, but this lock, the lock pin in the lock bar actually rotates during the opening cycle. It rolls up and around. You can watch it during the close. And so if your Tylock is kind of sluggish, it may need a little drop of oil right there, because this is supposed to be able to roll freely. Just something to keep in mind if your Tylock is having problems flicking properly. It is a very bouncy, weird action if you flub the opening, and it will come back and bite you. So that was one of the concerns. So yeah, let's go ahead and crack into this thing. A lot of people don't realize that this is the only knife CRK has ever put out on bearings. These do have ball bearings in the pivot. I don't think I've actually opened this one up. I opened up my other one when I was taking it apart. Yeah, no, there's some crusty Loctite. I believe this was the first CRK that actually came with the purple Loctite in the set, because they did, oof, yeah, look at that. They did recommend Loctite on the pivot to set your pivot. I had a couple of people ask me what my preferred method was for taking apart one of these. And I actually kind of like to do it the same way I do a Sebenza, which is with the blade in a half open position, pushing out the pivot, and then just sliding it out the side. That way I don't have to try and lever a scale out from under the lock bar, or try to lift the lock bar while I take the handle apart. And you can see, focus, you can see this is floating freely back and forth. That's as it should be. That's not supposed to be a rigidly fixed piece. This has a massive, get that old crusty Loctite out there, massive pivot too. That's got to be at least 5/16. Might even be a smidge under 3/8. Big old honkin' pivot. And then you can see you've got your bearings in there in probably Teflon, nylon races. They are captive, so the balls won't fall out on you. And if there's a little bit of oil or grease they will stay in the pockets nicely, allowing you to slip the blade back in. Let's go ahead and pull it all the way apart. The stop pin is pressed into, I believe it's pressed into the show side scale. And that can be a snug fit. And these have it's a shouldered back spacer. So one of the bearings wants to drop out there. Of course, this hasn't been apart in years. Oh, there we go. Come on. There we go. There we are. Very simple construction, like most CRKs. Just gonna get this lanyard off and out of the way. Come on. There we are. Very simple construction, like most CRKs. 2 slabs, pivot system, rear standoff, and a stop pin. Like I said, the stop pin is pressed into the show side scale, but it does slip into the clip side scale. So it's just a slip fit on this side. The bearings do ride directly on the titanium. Honestly, I've never seen a problem with that. If you have your bearings chewing into your scale, it's because you're over tightening the pivot. When ball bearing pivot systems first started being used on titanium slabs with the IKBS, the Icoma Korth bearing system, it was actually recommended that you would build them a little tight with the pocket not actually to the full depth that you wanted the bearing seated at, and you would assemble it and snug down the pivot, work the action, snug it down, work the action, and cold roll a bearing race into your slab by deforming and work hardening the titanium, which will it does have a lot of benefits on keeping the bearing from wearing into the slab further. But again, if it's chewing into your scale repeatedly, it's because you're over tightening your pivot. This has some really old white CRK Teflon grease you can see in there. Clean all that out. Here you can see, focus, there we are. You can see the A11 right there. So A is first quarter, 11 is 2011. That was when this Tylock was made. And all the slabs are marked in that same spot. And you can tell, even if you don't have a birth card that came with your Tylock, you can tell when it was manufactured. Let's see if I can throw this back together and keep it under 10 minutes. Let me take a little daub of grease. What are we at? Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Give that a little spin. A little daub of grease. A little spin. Put you guys back together. Oh, don't forget the lanyard. Don't know how many times I bit myself doing that. There we are. Put you back together. Line up the stop pin. Keep everything square. Come on. Come on. It can be a little fiddly keeping everything lined up. There we go. But once you do, it goes right together. And then we'll start the pivot halfway through, and about like so. Slip you like so. Almost. Come on. There we are. Close you up. Thread you in. Where are we at? Oh, Oh, I'm gonna run just a hair over 10. Oh well. So close. Pop you back in. And time. There we go. So yeah, it's really not as intimidating to do a little maintenance on these. They're really, really simple beasts, but very, very cool. Definitely a worthy addition to any Hawk Knives collection. And of course, the CRK collectors definitely like these things too. So now there's a little more competition in the collecting pool. So there you go. That's a teardown on a Tylock.